us like unto you. St. Charles Borromeo, servant of the Lord, patron of your daughters here, fill our hearts with love for Christ. Take care of us in you, and make us like unto you. Serving the poor, you persevere, standing in faith, defending His church. Serving the poor, you persevere, standing in faith, defending His church, leaving all the riches of earth, loving Jesus, finding new birth, leaving all the riches of earth, loving Jesus, finding new birth. Oh, glorious saint, we praise. To thee our praise we raise. Oh, glorious saint, we praise. To thee our praise we raise. St. Charles Borromeo, servant of the Lord, patron of your daughters here, fill our hearts with love for Christ. Take care of us in you, and make us like unto you. Take care of us in you, and make us like unto you. Humble of heart, pleasing to God, kindness of Christ surrounding your thought. Humble of heart, pleasing to God, kindness of Christ surrounding your thought. Deeds of love reached out to all, dazzling praise of God for all. We find our guide in you, and keeping thee in our view. We find our guide in you, and keeping thee in our view. St. Charles Borromeo, servant of the Lord, patron of your daughters here, fill our hearts with love for Christ. Take care of us in you, and make us like unto you. Take care of us in you, and make us like unto you.
Our founder, Reverend Father Adrian Brezzi, wished that the sisters would follow his footsteps, live up to his ideals, and be guided by his way of life. Jesus tells us that a tree is known by its fruits. A retrospective glance into the history of the congregation and the life and work of the sisters confirms this teaching. In 1933, our sisters entered Karnataka with the seeds of compassion and light so that they could ignite the hearts and minds of the poor and the marginalized by providing holistic education. They followed the star of knowledge from Ranipet to Shivamogga, then on to Bangalore, Bhadravati, and many other districts. In fact, our sisters lived out their lives as desired by Reverend Father Adrian Brezzi. We become what we contemplate. The historical facts that precede its beginning enforce one to exclaim, "Great are the works of the Lord."
On 15th January 1930, four pioneers, Reverend Mother Mary Gerard, Reverend Mother Margaret Mary, Reverend Mother Virginie, and Reverend Mother Maria of the Indian Mission, started a school at Ranipet district. Monsignor Medalit presided over the function and blessed the pupils. Reverend Mother Mary Gerard was at the helm of the institution, and she was assisted by Miss Agnes Leela and Miss Padmavati, who was later known as Sister Mary. She was one among the first 5 Indian sisters who had dedicated her life to the Lord.
On 1st July 1930, an orphanage was built in Ranipet for 20 girls ranging from the age of 5 to 14 years. In response to the invitation of Monsignor Maurice B. Departures, Bishop of Mysore, who was a former student of our institution in Peruve, and the nephew of Mother Helena, the missionary sisters of St. Charles Borromeo arrived at Shivamogga to serve the diocese. The missionaries chosen were Mother St. John Kennedy, Mother Clemens, and Mother Virginie Ammon. They selflessly offered their talents and life as a gift to the people of Shivamogga. The Bishop of Mysore inaugurated the convent on 15 February 1933. On 15 February 1933, the second Indian house at Shivamogga was blessed, and the mission of Christian education for the poor and the following apostolic activities of the communities were undertaken. Nirmala Mandir, an orphanage, was opened on June 21, 1933. Red Cross Drop of Milk Lady Mirza Milk Center was opened on November 4, 1933. This was later closed as the people became self-sufficient. A creche was established on 10 February 1934. Christian education. Sister Mary Virginie started Mary Immaculate Primary School on 10 February 1933 with 20 students in a shed. The school received recognition in 1934. Gradually, the number of the students shot up to heaps and bounds. In 1935, with the permission of the government, an Anglo-vernacular high school was started with St. John Kennedy as the first headmistress. In 1937, the first 3 students appeared for the SSC examination. Mary Immaculate Girls High School was established on June 7, 1934. The first native novitiate was established on May 31, 1935, and later transferred to Bengaluru.
Novitiate was inaugurated at Mary Immaculate Convent, Shivamogga on May 31, 1935. Mother Mary Gerard, the regional superior, was present with Mother Virginie, to whom we owe a huge debt of gratitude for starting the novitiate barely 2 years after inaugurating Mary Immaculate Convent at Shivamogga. The foundation stone for the orphanage was laid on the same day, and it was blessed by Reverend Father Joseph A. D'Souza, the parish priest of Sacred Heart Church. The first 5 postulants who were solemnly received into the novitiate were Sister Mary, Sister Joseph, Sister Carola, Sister Teresita, and Sister Maurice. They made their first profession on June 1st, 1938, and their mistress was Mother St. John Kennedy.
On 13th August 1938, the novitiate was shifted to Hulsoor, Bengaluru, and Mother Margaret Mary was appointed as the novice mistress. She had one novice, Sister Frances Mary, and two postulants, Therese Miranda and Mary Chandy. On 2nd June 1941, Monday of the Pentecost week, the first 5 Indian sisters, Mother Mary, Mother Joseph, Mother Carola, Mother Teresita, and Mother Morris, made their perpetual vows in the presence of Reverend Father J. D'Souza, Mother Virginie, and Mother St. John.
St. Charles Convent, Bengaluru. The main mission of starting this community is to provide value-based education to all and provide opportunities of Christian education to the Catholic children of the locality, with special emphasis on the poor and the marginalized. January 6, 1938 was a great and glorious day in the annals of the Bengaluru convent. Monsignor Morris' departures invited our sisters, Mother Virginie, Mother John Bosco, Mother St. John, and Mother St. Augustine to be the pioneers of the new foundation in Hulsoor, Bengaluru.
The novitiate was transferred from Shivamogga to Bengaluru on August 12, 1938. In the year 1940, a Tamil school and an English school were started. The sisters not only engaged themselves in teaching both the mediums, but also cared for the sick in the dispensary at the same time. A little dispensary was blessed by Reverend F.X. Norona. The poor patients seeking medical care started visiting the dispensary, and within a matter of few months, almost 400 patients were treated in the dispensary.
The golden jubilee of the religious profession of Mother Josephine Allard, the foundress of the missions, was celebrated both in Europe and in India. The celebration in India was on August 30, 1938. Unfortunately, we had to miss her presence amongst us as she was unable to travel. Hence, she was remembered by the Indian sisters on that day only in their thoughts and prayers. There was a general panic in Bangalore on April 23, 1942. A Japanese warplane caused the alarm, since Hulsoor was a British military center at that time. Hence, the novitiate was shifted back to Shivamogga till 1949. Monsignor Thomas Pathakumari was transferred to the Diocese of Bangalore in 1943. He advised the sisters to close the dispensary and give importance to education. On 24th April, Mother Margaret Mary left for Shivamogga with 2 novices, Joanna and Benedicta Pillai. During the Second World War, our sisters at Hulsoor continued the work of Good Samaritans by providing medical care to 12,568 sick people and visited 1,056 sick people in the neighboring villages. Mahatma Gandhiji was arrested once again on 16th August 1942 due to the Quit India movement. The functioning of our schools was affected to a great extent due to his arrest.
In 1939, Mother St. John Kennedy was appointed as the examiner for the middle school English paper. On 29th October 1941, the Director of Public Instruction sent an order from the government appointing her as one of the 28 members constituting the new Secondary Educational Board. In 1943, she was requested to be a member of the Board of Visitors to the Megon Government Hospital at Shimoga. On 20th May 1947, the government appointed her as the municipal councillor. However, she declined the offer as the position would hinder her to live out her religious life. In 1948, she was appointed as a member of the District Educational Committee. She was the first novice mistress for native candidates.
On 29th June 1942, Mother John Bosco, Mother Teresita, and Mother Antonia arrived from Mary Immaculate Convent, Shivamogga, at the request of the authorities of MISL Bhadravati to take charge of the Welfare Girls Middle School. They took up the MISL quarters.
In 1944, Reverend Father Cyril Brown started a kindergarten school on 11 Clark Road with a view of providing basic Christian education to the Catholic children in the locality. The sisters were contacted in 1945 and recognized the will of God and readily accepted the offer of taking up the school. Mother Virginie was the first headmistress of the school. The first inspection of St. Thomas School, now known as St.Charles High School, was on June 11, 1946. Dr. Hunter was very pleased to see the rapid development of the school and the efficiency of the staff. There was now scope for educating many Anglo-Indian children of the locality. Sri Gurudutt, the Director of Public Instruction of Mysore, was the chief guest for the entertainment program held at St. Thomas School. He appreciated the efforts of our pioneers and publicly announced that the school had a bright future and the students would make a mark in the society.
The trio, Mother Ignatius Chandy, Joanna and Benedicta Pillay, formed a new community at Richestown. The sisters occupied several temporary dwellings in Richestown and finally settled in the present property at Hennur Road. The new St. Charles School building was blessed on May 22, 1950 by Monsignor Thomas Pattakumuri, Bishop of Bengaluru. On 1st November 1950, Mother St. John Kennedy was appointed as the superior of the convent.
Though the situation of the war was ravaging in Europe, our sisters received the news of the safety of their families in Belgium through Red Cross Bengaluru. They were worried and anxious, but they trusted in the divine providence of the Lord. His Excellency Bishop Fuga sent a postcard announcing the liberation of Tournai, and our sisters received the news from their families on 1st April 1945 after a gap of 7 years. On December 2nd, 1947, the bishop presented 2 documents containing the transfer of a part of the church compound of Shivamogga to the convent, which was signed by Monsignor Maurice de Pacher in Belgium in 1940.
The news that Mother Adele Plaquet was re-elected as the Superior General was received with a great joy on August 26, 1948. Immediately, Reverend Mother announced her visit to India. This visit of the General was after a break of 19 years. The war period was responsible for the lack of personal contact with the Mother House. Reverend Mother Adel Plake, arrived in Mumbai on September 21st, 1948.
On 1st May 1949, Leela Tyagaraj, known as Sister Francisca, one of the students of the first batch of St. Charles High School at Bhadravati, joined the novitiate. The joy of the sisters knew no bounds as they offered their first fruit to the Lord.
A great visionary and foundress of the missions, Mother Josephine Allard, passed away in Belgium on 11th May 1949. Monsignor Dispatches of the Paris Foreign Missions, titular Bishop of Benda, celebrated the funeral mass. The vision of Mother Josephine Allard obliges our sisters to remember that the community of tomorrow is being born in our fidelity during the present times.
The Third Order of St. Francis of Assisi was inaugurated with the written permission of the bishop. The widows and orphans who wanted to consecrate themselves to the Lord were admitted. On 3rd October 1949, the eve of the feast of St. Francis of Assisi, Father C. Lobo inaugurated the confraternity. The first 4 tertiaries were given the habit: Francis Josephine, Francis Luth Mary, Francis Jayamary, and Francis Savariammal. Mother Carola and Mother Teresita were their mistresses till 1957. The novitiate was once again shifted to Bengaluru on 19th May 1949. Mother Margaret Mary arrived with 7 novices and 2 postulants. Sisters M. Thomas, Josephine, Veronica, Catherine, Therese, Benigna, and Monica. The 2 postulants were Mary Tyagaraj, later known as Mother Francisca, and Mercy Pinto, later known as Mother Helena. Leticia Gonzalez, now known as Mother Alfonsa, joined a month later in June 1949.
Significant personalities: Superiors General, Mother Josephine Allard from 1928 to 1939, Mother Marie Adel Plake from 1939 to 1951, Provincial Superior, Mother Marie Gerard Deke from 1943 to 1958. In the words of Sister Margaret Mary, the beginnings were humble and hard, and when the times were difficult, our saintly superior, Mother Marie Gerard, used to remind us that we are missionaries, which meant we had to expect hardships.
The growth of our missions in India from a sprouting seed to a fruit yielding tree is the result of the labor of our pioneers, predecessors, and the present pilgrims of our congregation. We gratefully salute these courageous souls who, through their joyful surrender and dedicated service, continue to be the extension of the Father's compassion.
Father, keep in your people and especially in our congregation the spirit which filled St. Charles Borromeo. Let your church be continuously renewed and show the image of Christ to the world by being conformed to his likeness, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit forever and ever. Amen.